This weekend, you can explore what life was like on Isle Dauphine in the 1700s and 1800s. It's the annual Colonies of the Gulf Coast Day on Dauphin Island. Ralph Ullman is joining us, looking very dapper. Ralph, very good costume here.
We're dressed as a French Marine of the early 1700s around Dauphin Island and Mobile area.
And you look just exactly how they would look. Where did you get all this great stuff?
A good friend of mine that made the uniform for me.
Yeah.
Joe Everett.
And they did a fantastic job. And you're going to see a bunch of people dressed up in these uniforms on Saturday when this all goes down. Tell us a little bit about what's happening.
Well, it's the 24th year that we're doing this. It's to call it Taste of the Colonies. We're going to have blacksmithing.
You're a blacksmith.
I am the blacksmith at the fort,
okay.
And we'll have some helpers in there working with us. We just recently restored the ovens at the fort, so we'll be baking some bread and churning some butter. We'll be firing the cannon every hour, and soldiers will be doing some drilling and firing their rifles and stuff like that too.
Yeah, you're going to see what life was like basically back in the olden times, 200-300 years ago. And you mentioned soldiers. Now we have 3 different types of soldiers as well. Don't we have the French, the British, and the Spanish?
In the earliest time period, the Spanish come to the area first, and the French were next. Dauphin Island and the Mobile area was used for the capital of Louisiana, and then somewhere around 1711 there was a bad hurricane that forced them to move further down the Gulf Coast toward New Orleans.
An incredible amount of history to be learned, and things like this are a great way to bring the kids out, bring the whole family out, so you can learn because you kind of live the history.
It really is, because it's the beginning of our area here, of the colonization. You know, before the early explorers just kind of passed by when they were looking for, in some cases, gold and silver, a good place for a port. But the French figured out that the island of Mobile was a really good port to store their warehouses and begin a new settlement.
And they began their new settlement right here. So if the folks do want to come out, see everybody in costume,
yes, take
place in everything that's happening, what do they need to know? When is it all going down?
It's going to be Saturday from 9 to 5. And there is $4 for 5 through 12 and $6 for 13 and up. It all goes to help the fort stay open.
That is fantastic.
It is a good cause.
Yeah, a big fundraiser to preserve this history and keep it going on the Gulf Coast year after year, so you can go visit historic fort games not only on Saturday but throughout the year as well. So sounds like just a great event. We
do weekly stuff as well, like on Monday, Wednesdays, and Saturdays every week we do the blacksmith demonstrations, and during the week we have school tours that come as well, where we do a guided tour and tell them more about the fort and some of the island's history, which is really interesting. One thing to note, that Dauphin Island was originally named Isle Massacre, from a bone pile that the French had discovered on the island, and it reminded them of a massacre. Well, they wasn't doing real good with getting volunteers to come over to the new settlement. Named that doesn't sound like a pleasant place to go, and so it was renamed Isle Dauphine, of a French princess, an heir to the throne.
Everybody wanted to come see the princess instead of go to a massacre. So yeah,
exactly,
so that's a good bit of history there, and just some of what you can learn at the big events, like you said, all week and Saturday at Fort Gaines on Dauphin Island. So go check it out. Thank you so much for coming in. We appreciate it.
It is our pleasure. Thank you for having us.
Very fantastic outfit. Go check it out this weekend, guys. Hey, check this out. We've got some live music for you this Friday.